What the hell is up, everybody? Louis back here again for another fun week of fights. You got UFC Vegas 58 coming off of that pay-per-view. I did all right last weekend. I was actually up by the time the prelims ended. Jalen Turner cashed in pretty big for me. But I wanted to keep gambling. And then, Sean O'Malley, no contest. So that one's a push. And then Robbie Lawler and Brian Barberena. And I picked Robbie Lawler plus 100. Really shouldn't have bet that fight. Good fight, but he didn't get it done. And then, Sean Strickland decided not to wrestle at all and got knocked the fuck out. So, what are you going to do? But, Alexander Volkanovski just decided to destroy Max Holloway every single round and prove that he's the best 145er on the planet and possibly ever. So, things like that happen. It is what it is. But we do have a fun fight night this weekend. The main event, you got some Rafael on Rafael crime. You got Rafael dos Anjos taking on Rafael FIZIEV. A very important fight, man. Rafael dos Anjos, he wants one more shot at the title. FIZIEV is on the way up. FIZIEV is on the way up. And dos Anjos needs to beat him to prove he's relevant. And FIZIEV needs to get past a tough veteran, former champion like this if he wants a shot at the title. And then, I'm pretty excited. You got Kyle Borralho taking on Armin Petrosyan in the co-main. Borralho, man, this is his second UFC fight, second co-main event spot. And, big fight for either guy here. Whoever gets this is going to move up, borderline top 15. So, pretty excited for that. Let's get into it real quick. The first fight of the night, 135 pounds, men's bantamweight. You got Ronnie Lawrence taking on KAKHRAMONOV, Lawrence took on Manny Martinez his last fight. Just in the first round, he was circling outside. He would step in with the 1-2. And then a little wild, and then he would just shoot a double, get the double off of the fence, and then he able to get around the back standing, but not really able to hold Mana for too long. Then he would land a step inside leg kick, and then a right cross, and he knocks him down, and then he goes around the back and lands some hard ground and pound. Second round, he lands a step in left in hook to the body, and then he lands a right hook to the body, and then a left hook to the head, drops him, and he rides his back for a long time, but he's not able to really keep him down. Mana has a chin on him, I'll tell you what. Then he landed a step in right cross, and then he drops him, and he's able to get to the body triangle, and then whenever Mana gets up, he's back shooting it on the double. Ronnie Lawrence doesn't let people breathe, and I love seeing that. Then in the third round, he gets pressured forward, but then he's able to land a head kick when he's pressured, but then he shoots a desperate double, and then he gets stuffed, but then he's able to land a right cross, and then he cuts Mana off on the cage, but he eats a left hook in his double attempt to get stuffed again, and then he gets dropped with a back fist, like a minute 30 left maybe, eats some hard ground and pound, but he's able to roll out and get the double leg. Mana's a little too overzealous and stay on top for the rest of the round. Ronnie knocked him down like 3 times, I think, the first 2 rounds. Looked very dominant, and then, third round left off the gas, so I don't like seeing that at all because I thought Manny Martinez might have thrown in the towel, but, he got it done, and the dude's got hands, and he stays on his chain wrestling. And then KAKHRAMONOV took on Trevin Jones his last fight. In the first round, he's able to get the whizzer, stuff the takedown, jumps the guillotine, can't get it though, but very tight, very good attempt. But then he gets clinched on the fence for a while, but then he's able to keep that overhook, and Trevin Jones can't really do much with it. Then in the second round, he presses toward the cage, he lands a jab and a right cross, and then he starts throwing some hooks, but then he gets shot on with a single by Trevin against the fence, but then he's able to land some elbows, land some nasty elbows, doesn't get taken down, so I like seeing that defense out of him. Then he presses forward with some wild hooks, he gets in the clinch, but then he eats a 1-2, and he gets double-legged off the fence to end the second round. Second round could have gone to Trevin right at the end there. Then in the third round, he landed a step in right, and he gets his back taken in the standing position against the fence, but he's able to break free there, and then he's able to defend this single leg and gets the guillotine with I think it was 45 seconds left in the fight, toward the end of the fight. So I really like seeing that win from him. Still going for it at the end, having the mind to finish it. And scorecards, it was kind of close, but Sadia Cub plus 105, Ronnie Lawrence minus 125. Don't know, man. I just have a feeling about Ronnie Lawrence. I know Manny Martinez isn't the top of his competition, but I mean, he went forward and dropped him. And, you know, I feel like Sidey Cub is going to rely more on catching Ronnie Lawrence in something, which is possible, but I think I'm going to hope that Lawrence has learned his lessons, and if he has a lead, he keeps on it and doesn't take his foot off the gas, maybe paces himself a little bit better. But my pick here is Ronnie Lawrence. I just really liked what I saw out of him. Second fight of the night, at 205 pounds, men's light heavyweight. You got Kennedy and NZECHUKWU taking on Carl Roberson. Should be a fun banger slapfest. NZECHUKWU took on Nikolai Negumereanu his last fight. First round, he stalks at range and he looks for his jabs. Doesn't really commit to it though. But then he starts pumping some jabs and he backs out of range of the shots. Not too much happens. Second round, he gets pressed with some hooks, but he's able to defend the double leg. But then he gets clinched for a while. But then he jabs, comes forward, lands a 1-2. Then he lands a jump knee whenever Nikolai presses him in the pocket, and he's able to get up from the double leg. He gets taken down real quick, but able to get up, and he's able to separate from there. And then he lands some straights when he gets pressed, and then he eats some hooks, and then he circles out in the third round. So, you know, not too much happened there, honestly. In the third round, he starts putting it on him, but they take a point away for that eye poke, so you kind of get what you get, I guess. Don't know. But I thought he looked really good. He did kind of jab at some moments, but he didn't, like, sit behind his jab, didn't commit. That's the only thing, but, you know, and Nikolai has a hell of a chin, so he hit him a lot. Carl Roberson took on Khalil Roundtree his last fight. In the first round, he gets pressured, eats some overhands whenever he starts stepping in, but then he lands some leg kicks whenever he gets pressed. Then his body kick is caught, and he eats some punches from Khalil. Then he jabs, but then starts establishing a jab, then he eats a step-in 1-2 from Khalil. Then in the second round, he gets pressed and dropped with a right hook, and then he tries to roll for a leg on Khalil, but then he gets KO'd with a body kick while he's on the ground, and then some just vicious hooks from Khalil, and Khalil is very scary. But yeah, honestly, not too much happened in the first round, but, you know, he just kind of, nothing happens, and then he just kind of gets steamrolled, so kind of interesting fight, I guess. Carl Roberson plus 115, Kennedy minus 135. I'll be going back and forth. Kennedy's ring IQ is not the greatest. He lost a point, I get it. But Carl Roberson, here's the deal. I just haven't seen anything out of him, you know? So I've seen moments of greatness out of Kennedy. And Negumereanu is, like I said, has a hell of a chin, tough fighter. And I thought he looked really good against him, started turning it on at the end. The line is a little whatever. Now, I think that they're going to be a knockout, but sometimes with guys with power, it goes for the whole fight, so I don't really know there. Line's not too bad. My pick here is Kennedy and NZECHUKWU. Third fight of the prelims, 145 pounds, men's featherweight. Last-minute replacement, you got David ONAMA taking on Garrett ARMFIELD. ARMFIELD took this fight literally yesterday, so should be interesting. And ARMFIELD, I believe, coming up from 135, something like that. ONAMA took on Gabriel Benitez his last fight. First round, he's at range. He works in, pumps some jabs, but then he eats some kicks when he comes in. Then he eats some step-in body hooks. But then he gets wobbled with a leg kick, but then he's able to land a right cross whenever Benitez comes forward. But he walks into some straight right hands from Benitez, and then he gets rocked and he eats some hooks. But then he shoots a desperate double, and then he's able to get it, and he's able to get around his back. Then they break free, and then he cuts him off on the cage. Then he lands a lead right, and then a straight shot flurry, just goes crazy on him, and gets the KO. So, you know, didn't look the greatest, was eating some punches, but he was able to just find his shot and go for the kill, so I like that. Garrett ARMFIELD took on Stephen Graham his last fight. This was probably a year ago. In the first round, he lands, or not a year ago, this is recent, but in the first round, he lands a step-in jab, a jab uppercut, gets the knockout right away, like 40 seconds or something, so not too much there. But before that, this was like a little over a year ago, he took on Mateo Vogel. In the first round, he's able to break out of the clinch attempts, defend single leg attempts, and then he lands a straight right whenever he gets pressed. Then he lands some right hooks when they exchange in the pocket. Then he lands a right hook to the body and then a cross to the face. And then he's able to drop him with the 1-2 toward the end of the round. Then in the second round, he presses forward with the 1-2. He lands a left hook to the body and then a right hook to the head, that classic combination. And then he's able to stuff the single leg, but he gives up his back in that process, and he gets drugged down and put in a rear naked choke. He's able to escape that though, but then he gets put it back in it again and submits. And I don't know what was happening, because before he got drugged down to the mat, he looked really good. So I don't know if he just didn't want to be there or what, but he didn't really even seem like he was gassing. But I mean, before that, he looked really good. I mean, dude's got power. The dude comes forward, decent wrestling, defense. Garrett Armfield plus 550. David ONAMA minus 750. I think ONAMA's a better fighter, obviously, coming off a couple days' notice. But guess what, dude? David ONAMA is not worth minus 750. I think Garrett Armfield can get in there and make it dirty. He knows he's got nothing to lose. He's got decent power, decent wrestling defense. Plus 550. Garrett Armfield. Sign me up. Keeping it rolling here. Featured fight of the prelims, I guess. 185 pounds men's middleweight. You got Cody BRUNDAGE taking on GORE. GORE coming off the Ultimate Fighter finale, or the real one, against Brian Battle. BRUNDAGE took on NZECHUKWU his last fight in the first round. Said that one correctly, kind of. He dips a shot, lands a right hook, and he's able to stuff the clinch attempt, and then he ducks some hooks, and he's able to get in on a single against the fence, but can't really complete it. But then he's in a seatbelt position going in on a shot, and then he eats some hard ground and pound from there, though. And then back on feet, eats an uppercut flurry on the fence, but he shells up. But then he's able to pull the guillotine. He looks really rocked here, but has a wherewithal, pulls the guillotine, gets a submission, throw a Hail Mary, and he got it. But took a beating before that, but it looked, good for him. And then GORE took on Brian Battle his last fight. In the first round, he pressures toward the fence, jabs, leg kicks, all that stuff. Then he eats some leg kicks and then some straight shots at range while he's stalking, just kind of gets hit coming forward. Then the second round, he stalks at range, and then he walks into some straight shots and some kicks from Battle, kind of getting frustrated here, not really able to land his power at this point. Then he lands a lead left hook, and then he's able to rock him right there, and then he rocks him with the lead head kick and then some hooks when they're in the clinch position, and then he gets taken down with the double off the fence, and then he tries to hit a standing guillotine, and he's not able to get that, but he's able to get on top and end the round on top. So close round. I like that he's battling back, trying to win those minutes. Then in the third round, he's able to duck the jab, hits a blast double, but he's not able to hold Battle down. Battle's able to wall walk out, and then he gets clinched from Battle, but then he gets backed up with some straight shots, and then he gets clinched toward the end there. So, he did hit some big shots, but he wasn't able to really hurt Battle like he thought he could, and I just got noticeably frustrated over the course of the fight. GORE minus 140, BRUNDAGE plus 120. Gore's an okay wrestler, I guess. BRUNDAGE, pretty good wrestler, but BRUNDAGE takes a lot of damage. GORE hopefully had a learning experience from this competitive fight, and I think he's going to be able to hurt him early, and hopefully he doesn't get walking into guillotines. Line's not too big here. My pick here is GORE. I hope that can go that way. Co-main event of the prelims, 125 pounds, Antonina Shevchenko taking on Courtney Casey. Shevchenko took on Casey O'Neill her last fight. In the first round, she was circling out of jab range from Casey and landing some 1-2s, and then she's able to keep the overhook whenever they get into a scramble, and then she's able to get on top, get side control, kind of like a crucifix, and then just land some decent ground and pound from there. But then second half of the round, she gets pressed and taken down with a body lock, so kind of loses her steam at this point. In the second round, she backs up and throws some straight shots, but then she eats a counter hook, and then she gets taken down with a double off the fence from there. And then she goes for an armbar attempt, but then she gives up her back, and then she gives up full mount, and then just gets TKO'd with some vicious ground and pound and elbows from Casey O'Neill. So she looked good early on in the fight, and, decent clinch work, but Casey's just a little bit better, and then Antonina kind of lost her steam in the second round. Then Courtney Casey took on Liana Jojua her last fight. First round, she slides in, lands some hooks to the face, lands some hooks, and then a face kick, and then she steps in with some straight shots and some hooks, lands a 1-2 head kick, but then she gets taken down with a low single kind of out of nowhere. Jojua kind of shot far out, to be honest. And then in the second round, she gets a little less aggressive, and then she eats some step-in shots and some overhands from Jojua, but then she lands a step-in. She lands a step-in hook, and she's able to slip the shots of Jojua from there. Then in the third round, she's just kind of hanging out at range, and then she starts throwing more jabs whenever she gets pressed, and then throwing some hooks, connecting a little bit more, and then she lands her 1-2 head kick, and then, just kind of picks her shots and outpoints her on the feet. So, Courtney Casey plus 145, and then Antonina Shevchenko minus 170. This is a tough one here. I just know Courtney Casey's takedown defense is very bad, like really bad. She got taken down a couple times. Jojo's not the greatest talent in the world. And then, Shevchenko's aggressive. I just think she's not a good nail, but she's a good hammer, if that makes sense. And I just think Antonina's going to be able to get into a clinch position, land some shots from the inside, drag her down, get a trip or something like that. I see that going like that. And then, if she gets on top of Casey Casey can't really do anything from there. And then, you know, Antonina has the ability to finish the fight, so that's a possibility. But the line here, you know, lower level women's MMA. But my pick here is Antonina Shevchenko. I think she can get it done. Co-main event of the prelims. Actually, no. The main event of the prelims, 135 pounds, men's bantamweight. I'm most excited for this matchup. You got ZAHABI coming off about a year something layoff, taking on Ricky Hadouken Turcios, a.k.a. Pretty Ricky. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, ZAHABI took on Draco Rodriguez his last fight. In the first round, he eats a step-in cross, but then he's able to circle the outside, gets away. But then he landed a step-in 1-2, but he gets countered with the uppercut. But then he keeps on circling, keeps moving. I like that. Doesn't stay in one spot to get hit. And then he gets pressed, and then he lands overhand right, and then he gets the KO kind of out of nowhere. So, you know, ZAHABI has got power. And then Ricky Turcios took on Brady Highstand his last fight, Ultimate Fighter finale. In the first round, they get into a clinch battle, but then he gets taken down with the body lock. But, you know, he gets up relatively quickly. But then he's able to get his back to the fence, and then he hits a switch. And then he tries to take his back, but then he lands some ground and pound. Tries to take his back, but then he kind of slips off, but he's able to land some ground and pound from the back. And then back on the feet, he's able to slip shots in the pocket and land a nice right cross here. And then, you know, Highstand kind of gets a little tired, and you can see Ricky just kind of keep building his cardio. Then in the second round, he gets doubled, but he's able to use the fence to get up a little quicker this time. Then he eats a left hook while he's pressing forward. Then he lands a blast double, but he's able to get back, and takes his back, but he slides off of his back, and then Highstand gets around him, and Matt returns him. So a little too overzealous on the back, but he's still working through these positions. And then he pulls the guillotine, doesn't get it, but end of the round, decent time to go for it. Then in the third round, he presses forward, then he drops him with the 1-2, but then he gets doubled, but it's okay because he dropped him. And then he's able to grab his leg, and he stands up, and then lands a knee to the head. So, you know, end of the fight pretty strong there. On the ground, very scrambly type of guy. We're still working on his wrestling, and, you know, just keeps moving, and I like that, and his cardio is really good. And then Ricky minus 190, ZAHABI plus 160. You know, the inactivity is a big red flag for me. I don't like this line on Ricky, but I think after it gets past the first round, I think Ricky's really going to take over here. You know, Ricky can eat some shots, might even get dropped here, but I think Ricky has the cardio to push farther as the fight goes on. And then I think he can land some big shots of his own. And, you know, maybe ZAHABI takes a desperate double, and Ricky's able to get his back. Maybe lock up a submission, who knows. But my pick here is Ricky Hadouken Turcios. On to the first fight of the main card, 155 pounds. This one's a banger. You got Michael the Menace Johnson taking on Jamie Mullarkey. Okay, Michael Johnson took on Alan Patrick his last fight. In the first round, he's able to rock him with the straight left whenever he gets pressed. And then he presses forward, but then he gets rocked with the left hook. But then he eats some push kicks, but then he's able to land a right cross. Then he eats a back fist, but then he's able to get the double leg toward the end. So that was good to see him, you know, secure that, or try to secure the round at least. And then in the second round, he lands a straight left off of Patrick's kick, but then he's able to sprawl and gets out of the way of the double. Then he lands a 1-2 whenever he gets rushed. And then whenever he's in the pocket, he gets pressed. Then he lands a 4-punch combination and then ends with a massive left hook and gets the knockout. Knocks him the fuck out, and classic Michael Johnson is back, baby. Jimmy Mullarkey took on Jalen the Tarantula Turner his last fight. And then in the first round, he eats a right cross whenever he's trying to get the clinch. But he lands left hook whenever he gets rushed. Then he's able to clinch to the fence, but then he eats a knee from Jalen, and then he able to land a head kick in the pocket, but he was too close at this point, and then he's eating some body hooks in the pocket, and Jalen really made him pay there. And then he's able, when he throws his shots, he's a little too extended now, getting a little desperate at this point. Then he gets clinched, and then Jalen is able to break out of there, but he's able to get the blast double toward the end, and you know, secured top, like almost a minute at the top position, so that was good for him. Then in the second round, he's able to land off he gets cut off on the cage, and then he eats a right hook, and then he gets TKO'd. So, you know, but you know, competitive first round, took a lot of punishment, but the big thing was like whenever he was trying to clinch, Jalen would use that elbow and keep him off of there, and he was getting a little too desperate at times. But he did take some damage, which kind of worries me. Jamie Mullarkey minus 225, Michael Johnson plus 190. Yeah, bro. Coin flip. Both, you know, Michael was a little over the hill. Jamie just took some massive damage. That fight was in March. And this line is just insane, so not even looking at statistics or anything or what I think is going to happen. You know, take that line. My pick here is Michael Johnson plus 190. Michael Johnson by KO plus 380. I like that one. And then under 2.5 minus 175. Lock it up, man. For that price, I think Michael Johnson can get in the pocket and mix it up. And even if it's 50-50, Michael Johnson can knock somebody out. So let's get it. Second fight on the main card, 125 pounds, women's flyweight. You got Cynthia Calvillo taking on Nina Nunes. Calvillo took on Andrea Lee her last fight. In the first round, she stalks forward, but then she walks into some jabs and some straight shots from Andrea, and then she lands a step-in right cross, but then she gets countered, and then she gets pushed back, and then she's able to catch the kick, and she's able to get around the back. She puts one hook in while they're standing, but she can't hold, can't really do much. You know, Andrea just kind of beating her to the punch here. Then in the second round, she gets pressed with the hook to the body and then a knee, and then she's trying to circle away, but then she eats a lead left hook from Andrea, and then she's able to get the body lock, but she's not able to hold, can't really do much with it. Then she lands a step in 1-2, but she doesn't follow anything up, that, you know, doesn't try to hurt Andrea. And then she eats she starts eating 1-2s from range, and she starts getting pressed. And then second round ends, and she just took too much damage and calls it. So unfortunate, but you know, she took some punishment. And then before that, when she fought Jessica Andrade, you know, she just got wrecked. So, and then Nina Nunes took on Mackenzie Dern her last fight. This was after about a 2-year layoff, I believe. She had a child in that time. And then in the first round, she gets pressed with some straights, and then she gets clinched by Mackenzie. She's able to break free. She eats a 1-2, and she gets taken down with a single leg, pull her all the way up, trip. But then she goes up full mount and then submits from an arm bar. So she's getting beat up on full mount, and then Mackenzie's able to snatch up that arm. So it is what it is. Nina Nunes plus 125, Cynthia minus 145. I've been going back and forth on this one, but again, it's not lower level, but middling women's MMA. And the line's pretty close here, so I just got to go with my gut on this one, I guess. And so Nina Nunes, you know, married to Amanda Nunes, had a child recently, took some time off. Her last fight got wrecked. And, you know, is she really super focused on winning this fight? And then Amanda's got her own fight coming up, and you know, and then Cynthia, it's like do or die for her. She's a tough lady. She just, you know, I think she's suffering from some confidence issues, so I think it's do or die for her at this time. I think Nunes, a little bit over the hill. I think she can get it done. I think she can get in there and press and just land some big shots. My pick here is Cynthia Calvillo. Let's see what happens. All right. And then we got 265 pounds men's heavyweight. You got the somebody's O's got to go. Somebody's losing record has to go. Jared Vanderaa taking on Chase Sherman. Both guys lost like 3 of their last fights. I think Sherman lost his last 4, something like that. But anyway, should be a heavyweight slot fest. Let's see what happens. Vanderaa took on Alexei Oleinik his last fight. In the first round, he jabs at range, but not really hard, just kind of touching him, not really doing much. But then he gets pressed, and he eats some overhands from Oleinik, those giant windmills he throws. But then he's able to catch the kick, land a straight right. But then he gets pulled into guard and goes with them. Bad mistake. And he's able to take his back and actually has 2 hooks in at one point, but you know, I don't know what you're doing. That's Alexei Oleinik down there. But then he's able to get reverse, can't keep the hooks in. Oleinik's able to switch his hips. And then he tries to go for the triangle when he's on his back, but it doesn't work. Gets his back taken, and then he gets submitted from a scarf hold. So just really bad ring IQ, dude. So, but at least he got down there and scrapped and mixed it up with them, I guess. I don't know. And then Chase Sherman took on Alexander Romanov his last fight, but that did not go well. Got taken down and just beat the shit out of, basically. So before that, more fair fight, took on Jake Collier. In the first round, he gets pressed, eats some lead hooks and jabs, but he's able to back up out of range. He starts landing his own jabs, land an uppercut whenever he gets pressed too much. I like seeing that. But then his body kick is caught, and he gets pushed down into full mount, eats some ground and pound, nasty ground and pound. Kind of looked like he wanted to way out, I guess, or just wanted out of the fight. Turns his back, gets submitted with a rear naked choke. I don't even think the hooks were the whole way in. So, you know, didn't look good either. And, you know, both guys fought Arlovsky previously. Vanderaa had a razor-close fight with him, and Chase Sherman less so, but still relatively competitive. Chase Sherman plus 165, Jared Vanderaa minus 195. I don't like this line at all. It's low level men's heavyweight, but, you know, I just think Vanderaa, he has the grappling advantage. Sherman's not going to do much. Vanderaa is going to press him, I think, and he's going to be able to maybe clinch him up, get it double off the fence or something. Chase Sherman's takedown defense is very bad, and once he gets him on the ground, it's a wrap. Might get a TKO. And, you know, Vanderaa was asking Alexei Oleinik how he got him that scarf hold, so maybe he's working on scarf hold. Who knows? Jared Vanderaa sub plus 700. Throw some money on it. My pick here is Jared Vanderaa. On to the feature fight of the main card, 135 pounds, men's bantamweight. You got Douglas Silva de Andrade taking on Said Nurmagomedov. Andrade took on Sergey Morzov his last fight. This was pandemic time, Fight Island, so a while ago. But in the first round, he's at range, laying some step-in leg kicks. But then he gets dropped with the left hook at range, gets back up, gets dropped with the uppercut again, takes a lot of damage. But he's able to wall walk, pops right back up from a double leg, but then he eats a knee on his way up. But the dude's got a lot of heart. Then he lands some step-in body hooks, but he eats a 1-2 in return. But then he's able to circle away, starts regaining himself. Then he lands a lead hook and then a leg kick whenever he gets pressed. But then he eats a body kick and gets doubled again, but he survives. Second round, he lands some lead hooks, lands a left hook to the body, right hook to the head. Then he drops him with the hook to the body, and he's able to defend the double leg attempt. Then he lands a step-in, body hook and head hook combination, the same one. Left hook to the body, right hook to the head. And then he lands able to land an overhook, and he's able to stuff the takedown. Then he able to land a knee of his own, and then he lands a back fist, and then a hook, and then a knee, and then he lands a short elbow when they're in the clinch, gets pressed in the clinch, lands a short elbow, drops him, folds him like a chair. Then he's able to jump on his back and get the submission with rear naked choke. Club and sub, baby. Wild fight. The dude has got talent. The dude has got heart, so... And then Said Nurmagomedov took on Cody Stamann his last fight. Literally, Stamann shoots in on a high single, wraps up the guillotine, submission, less than a minute. Before that, took on Mark Striegel over a year ago. In the first round, he circles, lands a step-in, leg kick, and then a hook. But then he hurts him with a check hook off of Striegel's straight shot. And then he punches him whenever Striegel is in on a single leg. Then he drops him and then stands over him, KOs him with some ground and pound. The dude's got power, the dude's scary, and, you know, he had a layoff before that, so before that was, he fought in 2019, he lost to Ronnie Barcelos, I believe, if it's wrong, sorry, but, you know, so we don't know too much about this guy, but I just know he's on a hot streak right now. Said minus 360, and Silva plus 295. This line really sucks here. But I'm just going to have to take a chance. I'm going to have to go with Said here just because Silva, you know, he might catch him early in the first round. But Said, he does his best work in the first round, it seems like. And he just choked out Cody Stamann. Like, Cody Stamann's nothing. Cody Stamann is a stable bantamweight division. So I'm just going to take a shot here and go with Said. And then, but Said by finish of any kind, minus 115. I like that. Said Nurmagomedov. The co-main event of the evening, 185 pounds men's middleweight. I've been really looking forward to this one. You got Kyle the Natural BORRALHO, or the Terrifying Nerd, taking on Armin Superman Petrosyan. Kyle, you know, last fight, went to the judges of majority to whatever, not a no contest, but it was a decision that ended early because he landed an illegal knee. So, but, you know, he still won, and then his second fight in the UFC is a co-main event, so this is a big deal, and then Armin is coming off that slobber knocker against Gregory Rodriguez, so I'm very pumped for this fight. Yeah. And the winner of this fight is, like, they're going to be the new guy, 185. I know Andre Muniz is kind of the new guy-ish, but, like, this is the new guy, and I'm just pumped for this one. He took on Omar Gadziev his last fight. In the first round, he stalks with his wide stance, like karate-like stance, lands some head kicks and jabs, but then he eats some counters when he comes in. But then his kick is caught and he gets taken down, but he uses an underhook sweep, reverses him, and then he's in half guard, and then he's able to transition to his back with the body triangle, and you're not getting out of it from him. Really good stuff. Second round, he eats overhand and a body kick at range, but then he lands a jump knee, then a left cross right after, and then he's able to slip the overhands, and he's able to take his back. It has like a ride while he's on his feet, and then gets him down and gets into the body triangle, locks him up again. So very good, 2 rounds there. Third round, he circles, but he eats a head kick. He's just kind of standing at range. He gets caught standing a couple times, but then he gets pressed with hooks, but then he clinches. He's able to get the trip takedown, and he's able to, just gets body lock, and then he's able to get on his back standing, and then he gets put into a leg lock because Godzi kind of just rolls through, but he's able to get out, just like kind of mule kicks out of it, and then he's able to get around his back on the fence again, but then he lands an illegal knee because Godzi had one hand down, both feet on the ground, and just one hand down. It was illegal. It's stupid, but it is what it is. But they went to a judge's decision, I guess, or whatever you call it, anyone. And then Armin Petrosyan took on Gregory Robocop Rodriguez his last fight. This fight was amazing. First round, he circles, he eats a right hook, and then he eats some jabs. Then he jabs whenever he gets pressed, though. I like seeing that, giving something Gregory to respect. Then he circles, lands some leg kicks and jabs. Then in the second round, he lands a step-in 1-2, but he eats some hooks as he circles. But then he lands some overhands in the pocket, starts giving it back to him. Then he walks in a straight right from Gregory. Then he lands a counter left hook in the pocket, and he's able to rock Gregory. But then gets a little too overzealous, and he gets taken down with a blast double. But he gets right back up. But, but definitely he had his moments on the feet there. Gregory might have stole that round with that takedown. It was very close. Then in the third round, he eats some jabs as he's coming in. Then he gets cut off on the cage, and he eats a combination and then a head kick. He gets rocked, but he's able to. And Gregory passes him by like a shuck by, like a wrestling shuck by. And then Gregory goes for the Sulive stretch. Bad IQ on Gregory's part, but he's able to take advantage of it, and he's able to. But he gets put in the rear naked choke, but he's able to escape, and he turns his hip in and gets out of there. So, and he didn't just sit there and accept the stretch, which I really liked. Armin was able, he fought the whole thing and was trying to escape the whole time. And Gregory's a pretty decent grappler, so I like seeing that. Then he gets presses with some leg kicks, and then some hooks, lands some hooks inside the pocket, and he knows it's a dogfight. He's really going after it, and then he starts blasting body kicks and head kicks and really going for it, and then he wins a close decision, and, showed a lot of heart in that fight, showed some skill, and, showed he can hang on the ground with a good grappler like Rodriguez. But Barrio might be better than Rodriguez, but anyway, Petrosyan plus 200, Caio Borralho minus 240. This is a tough one. I'm going to go with Caio just because Armin needs to get engaged for him to do some damage, I think, on the feet. And I think Caio's going to be able to take him down. He might not be able to submit him, but I just think Caio's going to be able to get that body triangle and just wrap it up. Maybe get a submission. I don't think so. I think Armin's too tough for that. And also, I think Armin might land. I think Caio might eat some shots when he's coming in. But I think eventually Caio will be able to figure out how to get him down on the ground. And once that happens, it's all over. Maybe you give Armin the first round. Maybe you want to live bet it. But I'm going to go with Caio here. Straight up, a little much. So you want to go the whole fight over 1.5 rounds, minus 175. I like that. But my pick here is Caio Borralho. On to the main event of the evening. Been waiting for this one since February. 155 pounds, men's lightweight. You got Rafael dos Anjos taking on Rafael Ataman FIZIEV. The loser of this fight is not allowed to be called Rafael anymore. I don't know, just kidding, stupid. But anyway, Dos Anjos took on Renato Moicano his last fight. In the first round, he's able to break out of the clinch attempts from Renato. Then he lands some body kicks, and he ducks under his punches, and he's able to get the double leg, but he can't hold it, not this time yet. Then he lands some jabs from range, and he's able to get the double into side control. Then transition to just a full guard and just lands some ground and pound, nothing crazy, stays busy, does damage. Then in the second round, he lands some overhands, and he gets on the inside, lands a knee to the body. Then he's able to stalk, land some straight shots, gets a snatch single, but he's not able to get it, but he keeps touching and bringing it up, just letting Renato know that's an option for him. And then he lands a straight left whenever Renato comes in and throws, and he's able to get the body lock, get around his back. And then he's able to duck under his 1-2, and he's able to get the double, go into half guard, land some elbows, just frame off his head and land those left elbows. Then in the third round, he's able to slip the shots at range. Then he starts landing some straights. And then he's landing some body kicks, and he's able to grab his leg and doesn't get it, but still that threat is there. But then he gets an uppercut when he's just standing in the pocket. Renato's still alive, and then he lands some jabs, and he drops him with a left head kick through his guard, very beautiful. But then he jumps on him, and then he lands some elbows from half guard. But Renato's a tough son of a bitch and does not go out. But Rafael tried, though. Then in the fourth round, he just eats some straight shots at range when he's coming in, but then he's able to get his double, and that's kind of that. That fight went 5 rounds, but I don't know why it did. And then Rafael took on Brad Riddell his last fight. In the first round, he stalks at range, bounces, but he eats a lead left, but he's able to roll with the punches mostly, doesn't take the full effect of them. Then he's able to land a body kick, and he's able to dip, and he counters with uppercuts and right hooks. And then he lands some hook, he gets on the inside, starts landing some hooks, just kind of throws with all his power. He eats overhand, but he's able to counter with the right hook, and then he eats a leg kick and a hook, but he's able to land a combination, eats a hook combination through the guard from Riddell. But he keeps a high guard like this, and it kind of goes through. But, you know, at least he's being defensively responsible because he's kind of a wild man, so I like that. Then in the second round, he dips, and they both kind of trade hooks in the pocket. But then he's able to break free, land a step-in elbow, really nice there, cuts Brad open. Then he eats some lead short hooks from Riddell coming in. But then he lands a jab and then a lead hook. Then he's able to slip the right hook and land a jump knee on Brad at the end of the second. Then in the third round, he eats a leg kick, but he counters with some hooks. And his kick is caught, and he gets blast doubled, but he's able to keep the overhook, keep that whizzer, and he bases out on all fours, and Brad Riddell just kind of pushes him and lets him up. So I like seeing that he's going to fight. Somebody tries to take him down, he's going to fight tooth and nail for that, basically. Then he lands a left hook whenever he gets pressed on the inside, and then there's kind of staying at range. Rafael just kind of feints, kind of moves, and then as Riddell circles, he lands a spinning wheel kick to the head and knocks him the fuck out. So really close competitive fight up until then. Brad Riddell really tough, but FIZIEV just as tough. So a really good showing from him. Rafael minus 200. Rafael dos Anjos plus 170. And I don't know, man. How is FIZIEV's takedown defense? It's a big question. How does FIZIEV do rounds 4 and 5? I don't know, but plus 170 is a little too disrespectful for dos Anjos, in my opinion. I think FIZIEV might get the better of him in the first round or two, but I think eventually Rafael is going to be able to grab that snatch single, find a place for that double, get him to the ground at least a little bit. FIZIEV might be able to get up, but I think dos Anjos is going to be able to mix those in rounds 4 and 5. I think he's going to be able to wear on him. You kind of see FIZIEV start to get tired a little bit, especially in the Bobby Green fight in the third round. So, you know, it should be a fun fight. Your guess is as good as mine, but with this price, I'm going to go with RDA here. And then the whole fight under 4.5 plus 115, I like that. I think something crazy can happen. RDA, baby. All right, everyone, thanks for riding with me. I appreciate it. Decent weekend last week. I just really want to right the ship this week and make some decent profits here. Check the description down below. Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, all that stuff. Hit me up on there. You can ask me questions, anything. I'm here for it. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you like. Let me know what you don't like. Let me know if you guys won money, because I need help too, because I'm not rich yet. So I'd appreciate that. Like the video, share the video, tell anybody you know. If they want to make some quick money, they can do it here. Should be a fun fight. Let's see some underdogs come through. Let's see some violence. Let's see some money. And let's see some profits. And let's see some wins. Thanks, everyone. Good luck.